Hello and welcome to the Comic Book Communicast, the official podcast of the Google Plus comic book community. This is issue number 47 for the week of August 27th, 2014, and it's also our official one-year anniversary. Yay! Woo! I'm Justin Beeson, and I'm joined by co-host Sarah Evans, Paul Christopher, and a special guest host.
This is Olivia. Hi. Say hi, everybody. Hi. This is why I haven't been around lately.
We fully understand.
A lot of my time.
Each week we take a look at our pull list and pick the comic that we're most excited to read first and then review it here, good or bad, and then later we'll also go over any significant issues or news from the past week. So since we're lucky enough to have Paul here, let's get it started. And what was your
my pick? So my pick this week. Alright, so my pick this week was Batman and Superman number 13 with Jay Lee and Greg Pak at it. And now that they've gotten out of that stupid, horrible toy master video game storyline they were stuck in for a while, and gotten back to the original storyline that they started with, like with the first issue, with this whole thing with like this weird like demon thing and like this alternate Earth thing and all that stuff. It is so back on track. It is so awesome. Jay Lee's art. Jay Lee's art? Yes, Jay Lee's art is perfect for this kind of like weird, stark storyline that they're doing. I mean, like, you know, these alternate worlds that they're in. There's like only like you don't really see other people, so it feels really empty and just get this really kind of like nightmarish, strange quality to it that his art lends to very, very well. And the writing is fantastic. This is really the best thing going on in Batman's universe right now. It's better than anything going on in the main Batman title. It's better than what's going on in Detective. It's better than what's going on in Batman and Robin. And it sure beats the pants out of whatever the crap they're doing with Justice League. So.
Now, are they into a new storyline, or is this like the first issue of a new arc, or what?
So it's a new arc, but what it is it's picking up the threads from the very first arc. So
Okay.
I don't know, were you reading it back then?
Yeah, I read the first arc.
Yeah, so it's picking that back up.
Okay.
So we had all that. Well, sweet. Oh goodness. All right. Oh goodness, it is bedtime. She doesn't like something. There we go. But yeah, so it's picking up the thread from the first arc. So it's basically it's like a new arc, but it's a continuation of the story.
Cool.
And it's really cool. I'm really enjoying what they're doing with this.
Awesome. So that was Batman Superman number 13. And Paul, do you need to go, or are you going to stick around for a little bit?
I'm going to stick around for a little bit, but I'm going to be going here very shortly.
Okay. So, Sarah, what was your pick for the week?
My pick this week was Saga, Chapter 22. It's really weird for me calling these issues chapters and not issues, obviously. But, I mean, Saga has been, I think this time last year, Paul was trying desperately to get me and a few other people to read Saga, and I'm so glad that we have around here, because it's amazing. It's been consistently great and full of drama and action and all the good stuff that keeps people on the edges of their seats. And I'm not sure, because I know we never go too hard with spoilers, but some of the stuff that's happened in the past few issues with Prince Robot, the fourth infant son being kidnapped, his wife being murdered. Some of that is definitely coming to a head in this story arc. Oh my gosh, so much stuff hit the fan. Like, all of the kind of storm clouds just kind of opened up onto the story, and now the characters are having to deal with the consequences of everything that's kind of been brewing. And it's kind of heartbreaking, because a lot of stuff has been kind of foreboding for a while with Marco and Alana's relationship, as obviously, I mean, narrator, future Hazel, told us early on in the story arc. This is the story of how my parents split up. And I've seen a lot of discussion online, like, oh my gosh, do they mean divorced, or do they mean like went their separate ways for a while, or just separated, or do they mean like split up to avoid like detection? Everybody's got a theory, but it looks like they're definitely having real life, obvious, not able to be ignored marital trouble. And I was really excited because we get to see the two reporters who are dating and hot on the trail of what's actually going on with the overarching plot. So it looks like they might be showing up again in subsequent issues, and I'm excited about seeing those guys because they're very interesting to me. But yeah, Justin, what do you think? Did you get a hold of this one?
Oh yeah, it was so good.
I'm gonna have to go. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. But,
All right.
She's got to go to bed. So I'll be back, everybody. I promise. Give this one a little bit, like a few more weeks, where she is sleeping through the night, and I'll be back soon. And but don't forget about me, and I'll be back when I can. And happy anniversary to us.
Yay! Thanks for
You guys
coming
keep
in.
Public awaits.
Have a good night.
Night.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff happened in this issue.
Sorry, Justin, what was that?
Yeah. Interrupted by cute babies. It's all right.
I know. That's the best kind of interruption.
Speaking of cute babies, I love what they do with Hazel in this book. It's amazing. And from what I mean.
Oh my gosh.
Just if
the art just continues to knock it out of the park. Fiona Staples. Wow.
It's impossible for her to make Hazel any cuter. But yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff happened in this issue. But and once again, like the story's of course good, but it's always the Fiona Staples show, and once again we have that crazy opening page.
Oh my gosh, always. Every single issue. It's like you've got to kind of open the book from 3 feet back and like flip it open with a yardstick or something because you never know what's going to be there.
Yeah, it definitely caught me by surprise. I had a good chuckle. And then the 2-page, like the big picture of when we finally get to see King Robot and he's just perfect. Big
oh
old
my
fat
gosh.
robot-headed guy. That was amazing. And
I did not... I mean, just given the guy's character and how random a lot of his story began, and now, I mean, it started to come together very quickly that he's dealing with PTSD and he's got some other stuff going on, but this issue and the fact that it kind of intimated that this has been like a lifelong kind of mental thing that he's been dealing with, it was extremely intriguing, and I was actually surprised to realize this issue that I actually am feeling for this character that is an alien with a robot head who has been cast as a villain for most of the former story arcs. But, I mean, it happened, and that's just a testament to how good the storytelling is.
Yeah, the more we get of the Robot Kingdom, I need more of that in the comic. I wish these issues were twice as long. We get double the amount of story from both areas.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Saga continues to be amazing. It's everybody should be reading it. It's so good. So my pick, which I actually wasn't even gonna. I was like, I thought about it before, wasn't gonna pick it up, and then finally, between yesterday and today, there's so much buzz going around it that I had to grab it, and that's Wayward #1 from Image Comics. It's the new creator-owned series from Jim Zub, who does Skull Kickers, and he's doing that Disney comic, Figment, and he's done a bunch of other stuff. Oh, and he does Samurai Jack, I believe, and then with Steve Cummings on art.
I didn't know that was the same guy.
Yeah, and it was basically sold as like kind of a action adventure story in the vein of Buffy. So the main protagonist is I guess she's probably like 18 or 19 girl, and it's follows her, and she's going to Japan to live with her mom after she graduated high school, I think, because her parents are divorced, and she's never been to Japan before, but she's going to live there. And basically, as she gets there, like, some strange things start happening. So, she's kind of like lost in the city, and then all of a sudden it goes, she sees like a magical trail that leads her in the right direction to her mom's house. She's like, oh, that's kind of weird. And as she's continuing along, she's about to get jumped by, some guys, in a dark alley. And then this, like, cat girl comes out of nowhere. She's got, like, claws and sharp teeth and split eyes. And, defends them off. And then these guys turn into these, like, snapping turtle monster things. And so then the cat girl is fighting him, and then the girl, her name's Rory, she's fighting him too. And then you see that like little power that she turned into. It turned into kind of like this thing where she can see exactly where to go. So she can see like escape routes or ways to jump around people, and they use that to get out of there after they beat up the turtle guys.
Would you say they're Ninja Turtles?
They actually, they're pretty crappy Ninja Turtles. But that was the first thing I thought of. But if you look in the back matter, I guess they're like traditional Japanese like folklore monsters called like kappas or something like that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so she escapes, and then they're walking away, and then the cat girl disappears, and then it says to be continued. It was a cool, fun little like. It's got me intrigued. The art take a little getting used to. It's definitely anime inspired. A lot of the characters have like the pointed chins and the bigger eyes, but it's not over the top. It's just you can tell it's influenced. And the coloring, it has like kind of almost like an embossed look. So there's a lot of like white, like lightning. Shading, so that took a little bit of getting used to, but it's still good. Like the pencils are really good. Everybody's very expressive. The action was drawn really well. It was very easy to follow everything, and there was actually a lot of a good section of this, which is a lot of action, and there's a lot of like overhead shots and wide shots of the city and going around all these people, and you really felt like you were in this world that they're in. So really good comic. I'll be picking up the next few at least. But yeah, you
sounds really
like this,
interesting.
you should check
actually.
it out. Yeah. So that was.
I was gonna say maybe I'll pick up an issue. I mean, weird art can be kind of a turn off for me, but that you definitely make it sound good.
It's not weird. Like it's really good, and it's not like it's just for me personally. It's just not what my eyes are drawn to, but it's good. But yeah, I definitely recommend picking it up.
Okay.
And as far as, at my shop, like, they had a bunch of the variant covers left. But my shop always sells out of number ones because they never order enough. So you can probably still find it. So yeah, that was Wayward number 1. And what else did you pick up this week, Sarah?
Well, it was kind of a light week for me, in spite of the 1-year anniversary. The only other issue I had, and honestly I pillaged my wife's pull box for Saga, so maybe the only issue I legitimately had was Harley Quinn number 10, which continues to be just really entertaining. I mean, in this series co-written by Amanda Palmer and Jimmy Palmiotti. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about Neil Gaiman's wife with the Amanda Palmer thing. Not written by Amanda Palmer. She's a horrible human being. Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti. It's just, it was really good. A few issues ago, Harley got kicked out of her roller derby job for getting too violent with an opposing team member. To be fair, she started it, but, the other girl started it, but Harley definitely finished it. And one of her newly ex-team members referred her to an underground, extremely hardcore place called Skate Club, which is essentially Fight Club, but one-on-one with roller derby and intense weapons. And basically this is the first issue of that story arc, and it was really good. Art continues to be cute. Let's see if I can remind myself of who's doing it. Yes, Marco Baila. Oh, okay, so this is, I think it might be a new artist this issue, actually, because it looks a little different. Art is slightly less cute than it was in the past, but it's still really good art, just a slightly different style. Honestly, I didn't notice it at first until I read the artist's name, so it merges pretty well. But yeah, definitely would recommend. How about you?
Cool. I mean, there was a bunch out this week, but there wasn't a lot of like stuff that stood out. The couple that did was that were Batman Eternal 21, and that's kind of just because Scott Snyder, if he feels like if there's big issues, like he'll get on Twitter and start talking it up. And I mean, this was kind of like the jumping off point for the next big section of their arc. So they're a couple things finished up last issue, and then this one's the jumping off point. And I mean, you had the return of one big villain that's kind of not been used all that much, and so that should be interesting. And then another villain that I don't think a lot of people are gonna get it because it's from Gates of Gotham, which I don't know that a lot of people picked up or read. So yeah, that was alright. And then there's a big twist, but I feel like everybody saw that coming. Because they pretty heavily foreshadowed it, and Batman has been predicting it for a while. So I'm sure this issue kind of tries to say that Batman's in the dark on a lot of things, but he's been hinting at this for a while. So it was really good though, and this continues to be. I'm still surprised at how much I'm liking this as a weekly comic, even with all the art changes and all the different writers and everything. It's still like I'm still loving the overall story. And it also has return of Jason Fabok on art, so hopefully he sticks around for a few issues because he's one of the better ones that does the book. The other significant book that came out this week for me is Guardians of the Galaxy number 18. And so this is Bendis once again using the original Sin tie-in, not really to tie in to the event, but more to just reveal some secret that having to do with the team. So this one starts to explain, basically when Guardians of the Galaxy relaunched, everybody was wondering what the heck, because at the end of the last whatever storyline, Star-Lord, Old Nova, Richard Rider, and Thanos were in the Cancerverse, because that's where Star-Lord banished him to. And then Drax had died earlier, so this issue is finally, how'd they get back? So basically it's Bendis telling that story, and it's great because it starts out with Gamora just has Star-Lord tied to a chair, and she's about to torture him to find out because she's so pissed that he won't tell her. And so he gets in the story, and basically, after they go into the Cancerverse and Star-Lord has the Cosmic Cube and is beating the crap out of Thanos, he accidentally triggers like the big power that it does, and and then that's the cliffhanger, that it's starting to like take control of him, and so we have to wait till next issue to find out exactly what goes on. But basically the whole time, Thanos is going, give me the cube, I'm the only one who can save us all. And they're like, well, we didn't bring you in here to save us, we came in here to get rid of you. But Thanos is slowly like wearing him down, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But yeah, so those are the ones that I wanted to talk about. But yeah, well, I mean, a lot of good stuff, but not a bunch that like significant stuff. And I'm still catching up from last week's comics, so I've got.
I just can't believe Drax has died again. Like, really, again?
Oh yeah. No, and that's the other thing. They say, like, he didn't actually die. So he died at the hands of Thanos, who had the Cosmic Cube at the time. But apparently, instead of killing him, all Thanos did was transport him to the Cancerverse. So in the middle of all that, Drax appears. I'm like, oh, you're alive? Yep.
Oh.
Because
okay, then. At least he didn't get reincarnated again.
Yeah. So that does it for this week's comics. So let's get into some news. There's a few things here. We have this last week in the box office was the debut of Sin City: A Dame to Kill For,
Oh God.
and it completely bombed, like badly.
What? But it sounded so good.
Well, I guess that's what happens when you wait 9 years after a sequel. Because I mean, like at the time that was pretty inventive and whatever, but so many things have done it and done it better now. It's just kind of whatever. So it finished eighth, and it only made just over $6 million. That is horrendous, especially for
They
something
picked a
that.
really bad time to debut that.
Well, I mean, it's actually not. I mean, in relation to the first one, but I mean, there's nothing else out. You're a couple weeks removed from Ninja Turtles. You're a bunch removed from Guardians of the Galaxy, which Guardians of the Galaxy actually came back and made 17 million and was #1 again at the box office. But deservedly so.
Death to Turtles.
But yeah, and it's kind of funny because I was actually looking forward to Sin City and I just kind of completely forgot about it and didn't even go see it. I'm going to, but yeah, it's not the same movie environment that it was 9 years ago. So, oh well.
Honestly, the title's going to be a big turnoff for a lot of people, and for a lot of other people, it's just going to be, I mean, the way that they market it. I mean, it's very obviously not just a comic book movie, but a comic book movie because it's black and white. It's got the visually wonky stuff going on. A lot of people aren't just going to want to, go out and see that with their families or whatever on a Friday night. You've got to specifically say, I want to see this movie because I like the Sin City comics. And unlike the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there's not a lot of people who will just go do that.
True. And I also think that, I mean, since in the last 9 years, neither of the, because Frank Miller and Robert Rodriguez are co-directors, neither of them has done much to boost their reputation in the last decade. It's been a while since Robert Rodriguez put out the Desperado movies, which were his last really good films. And Frank Miller does everything he can to just piss everybody off. So
yeah,
they're not going to get much love from their existing fans either. So the next bit of news is they announced that Boom Studios has inked a first look deal with Fox, their television studio, which is kind of like, I think that because they already have one with a movie studio, and I mean outside of the obviously Marvel and DC who have their own corporate parents, they're like I think they're the first indie publisher to do that. And I mean there's a lot of good stuff out of Boom. Damon already has like a pickup somewhere, and is Lumberjanes on Boom or is that on Image?
That's a good question. It is on Boom.
Yeah. I mean, their Boom's actually kind of like, obviously they do some licensed stuff, but they're coming up. They have a lot of good stuff coming out.
Well, I mean, I think it's about time for indie comics to try to start breaking into movies or possibly even TV because, I mean, it's been a pretty good run over the past year or so that we've been doing the Communicast for indie comics. I mean, I keep dropping more and more superhero comics, pulling more and more indie, and that's just me talking. But it seems like Image and Dynamite and Boom are just having more and more, home runs, while Marvel and DC, yeah, they've got a few consistently good series, but a lot of the stuff that they're putting out is kind of hit or miss depending on if you like the character or if you're really devoted to the storyline or there's an event going on. Whereas, I don't know, I would definitely go see a Rat Queens movie or a TV show, which has also been talked about, I hear. So
yeah, it's gonna be a cartoon. I can't wait.
I guess it just depends on the comic. Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome. But yeah, it makes sense that eventually, Sin City, it might not have had a great launch, but it's not like a completely recognizable, Big Two or anything title. So we'll see.
And I think, this is a TV deal, and I think a lot of this stuff would do if they can find the right TV, station. a lot of comics would work a lot better on TV than it would in the movies. So I'm looking forward to this. Plus, I forgot, Boom also bought Archaea, so that means they have the rights to Mouse Guard, and I would love to see a Mouse Guard cartoon.
That art looks so cute. I keep meaning to see what that's all about.
Oh, it's great. Did you ever read the Redwall books?
Nope,
when you
but
were
like
younger?
every boy I knew in middle school definitely read them.
I mean, I haven't gone back and reread them since then, but I used to love those, and that's what Mouse Guard reminds me of. It's just good old like sword and
Animal
sorcery, but
figures.
with mice.
Sounds
Great.
cute.
All right, so the next thing is, oh, this is actually pretty significant. We're going to get a Lois Lane young adult novel, independent, like an actual prose novel. Yeah,
hmm
that's pretty great. Will you be picking this up, Sarah?
Oh, definitely. Well, I read a lot of young adult stuff anyway because, I mean, for some
Yeah, me
reason
too.
that just yeah, right? Because it tends to hit some more of what I like to read as opposed to a lot of adult novels, which may or may not be disappointing, usually may. Um, oh my god, I finally finished House of Hades tonight, by the way, but I digress. Finally, off my shoulders. But, yeah, no, this sounds really good, and I know that there was talk a few years ago, well, I say a few, like years and years ago, um, about Lois Lane, kind of girl detective, junior detective, sort of her being a reporter in middle school or high school or something series, whether it was a comic book or an actual book series. It was in planning a while ago, but nothing ever came of it. So I'd really like to think that someone up there really, really likes us and has been campaigning for this, and it's finally bearing fruit. So yeah, I'll definitely be picking this up because young adult novels, superheroes, Lois Lane. I mean, I named my cat after the woman. I'm kind of obligated to go and read the book.
Yeah, I hope they market it well, because there's not a lot of this, and yeah, obviously this won't be a typical superhero story,
No.
uh, so it would fit in with a prose novel. But yeah, I hope they market it the right way and it does well because you know there's been clamor for Lois Lane ongoing her own comic for a long time. I mean, look how
Yeah,
much attention that one shot they did got, and
that
it's
was
still on.
amazing with her sister. That was extremely well written, and the art was great. I would have definitely started pulling a series like this if they'd handled it like what I'm now seeing them handling the Harley Quinn series. I mean, this could have been that. But
Yeah,
yeah, they've got to definitely put the advertisement out there. They've got to hit the school libraries. They've got to hit the book sales. 17 magazine, whatever you got to do. Put a flyer in there. So, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I'll be picking up too, and it's from what I saw, it was only like 300 pages, so it'll be a nice quick read. The next bit of news,
Well, that's
it
not
might
bad
be
at
my
all.
might be my favorite news of the week, and that's that we are since Fox won't do it, Marvel is doing it themselves and making Donald Glover Spider-Man. So there's going to be either an episode or series of episodes in the Ultimate
Yes!
Spider-Man cartoon, and he's going to or Green Goblin is going to different universes, and I think stealing like DNA from the different Spider-Mans or something. But one of the universes is Miles Morales' universe, and
Spider-Man.
it's full on. They're taking the story like in his world, Peter Parker is dead, and he's replaced him, and so we get Donald Glover as Spider-Man finally, and this is incredible.
I think it's a miracle. I mean, thank God that the actor is still into playing this role after it's been so controversial and it's been shot down a lot. But now, I mean, it's about time we have, well, another mainstream black superhero in the media, or, anyone who's not cis, straight, white superhero, big name guy, Avengers, X-Men, Justice League, whatever, heading up a movie. I think he's going to do great because, I mean, we've got Johnny Storm, we've got Anthony Mackie. Um, Anthony, we got Falcon. Sorry. Speaking of guys who kind of are their superheroes. That I so look forward to finally getting this. And if anybody has any issues with it, they can go, take their comments elsewhere on the internet, where I'm sure there will be people to appreciate them.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the cartoon itself, but I will definitely be watching any of these episodes. And
which cartoon is this?
It's Ultimate Spider-Man, or I don't know if they call it Ultimate Universe Spider-Man, but it's a Saturday morning Spider-Man cartoon, the only Spider-Man cartoon that's on.
Is it like Spider-Man and Friends or whatever?
It's called Ultimate Spider-Man, but that's basically what it is. It's Spider-Man, and then there's a bunch of other superheroes and S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that stuff. But it's definitely like the
because I know there was that one series that's actually really entertaining where he was hanging out with like Heroes for Hire and a few other big name S.H.I.E.L.D. people.
It might
just
be
trying
the
to
same
figure out if that's the one.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while. So yeah, I'll definitely be watching that. I think that about does it for news, unless you got anything, Sarah?
I don't really think so. I swear, it's like there's something in the back of my mind that I wanted to say, but I guess it can't be that important. 1 year, woo!
Yes. Well, so that does it for news, but we don't just do comics. Sarah, I know I might have sprung this on you, but have you been watching, reading, consuming any other media, any non-comic media at all?
What, like finishing House of Hades? No, I definitely haven't done that. Yes, I finally knocked that sucker out tonight. Oh my gosh, it's over. October, the last book is coming out. They've got a lot of story to tell and not much time in which to tell it, but oh my gosh, it can't get much worse than it's already gotten because this series went downhill so fast. Oh my god. Between the gratuity and the boredom and the overwhelming heterosexuality. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but when every single person has a boyfriend or girlfriend, like even the cyclopes and the harpies and the wood nymphs and the satyrs and the people we don't fucking care about are hooking up, and meanwhile, poor little Nico is off in a corner all by himself. But no, I actually loved how, that it was one of the few good scenes in the book, I think, along with the scene where Justin, have you finished the book yet, or do you care if I spoil it at this point? Because damn.
I don't care. I'll finish it eventually.
Okay.
But I don't care about spoilers.
The scene where Frank essentially becomes praetor and leads zombie legions of the undead to victory, and the scene where Nico essentially comes out in front of Jason and is forced to, and it's really awkward for him and emotional, and basically he pulls an Elsa and almost loses control of his powers, and it's really sad. But I just thought it was really adorable how supportive Jason was of him from that second onwards. And it's like, this whole book, everyone's been like, ugh, Nico D'Angelo's here, he's a son of Hades, he's really weird, he hangs out with dead people, he doesn't talk a lot. And instantly, it was like a 360. Jason went from being like, oh, I don't know a lot about this kid, I don't really feel comfortable hanging out with him, to, hey, everybody leave Nico alone, Nico's got problems, okay, ease up on Nico. And it was just really adorable. Because even Nico's like, you don't want to be my friend, I'm better off alone. And Jason's like, nope, guess who's your new bestie? And it's adorable. So I'm looking forward to the last book in the series. Just to see what happens to Nico, see what happens with the Greek and Roman camps going to war. And I guess for the Gaia storyline too, although honestly that as a major plot for this entire series, it's been kind of uninteresting, especially since the bad guys that they keep killing keep coming back to life because of reasons and a subplot. And I think it's honestly because he was fishing around in mythology and could not find any more big bads to keep stepping in for them to fight. But, yeah, House of Hades. Dear God. How about you, Justin?
I wanted to talk about Legend of Korra. So this series is the continuation of the Avatar cartoon that was on Nickelodeon, which everybody loves. And this series has been amazing. They just wrapped book 3, and honestly, like, I mean, it's nothing like Nickelodeon's ever done before. It's a little, it's definitely not aimed at kids like Avatar was. Obviously other people enjoyed it, but yeah, it's really like it just has big overarching stories. It has probably the best like fight animation to like out right now. The way they animate, because the bending that they do, you have the magic of the bending, and then but each bending is based in some sort of martial arts, and each type of like the water benders have their own style, the fire benders have their own style, and it's just amazing to watch. They like the finale just happened, and there's this big like kind of like Dragon Ball Z style fight, but actually entertaining to watch instead of just close-ups on them like pumping up, because they're flying around.
I hope they're waterbender because they need to put something on that burn.
So yeah, like she's like taking off mountaintops and throwing them and stuff, and it's amazing. I know like a lot of people, not a lot of people that in our audience like aren't averse to cartoons, but some people just don't like watching cartoons. And this, I don't even think of it as a cartoon. It's like if this could be a live action show, if it wouldn't be like impractical to do all the effects for it. It's very adult storytelling. It's interesting. A lot of people just kind of describe it, like if you like Game of Thrones or that type of like big stories, you like this, or if you like the original Avatar series, it's not like that. Like the original Avatar series was definitely a lot comedy based and lighthearted. This is not. It's it's a drama, but are a ton of comedy bits in it, and they're really funny. So yeah, I love this show, and Nickelodeon did some funny stuff with it. They kind of just don't, like I said, it's like nothing they're putting out, so they don't really know what to do with it. They debuted it on, well, first of all, they like announced it was debuting a week before the first episode or the first episode of this season aired, and then it was on Friday nights, and nobody watches TV anymore on Friday nights, so it wasn't doing well. And then halfway through, they're like, okay, well, we're not going to actually put it on TV. It's just going to be on Nick.com and like Amazon, and so they did that halfway through. So we're definitely getting another season because they bought all the episodes, and that's their big story is, they have four seasons of it. So we're going to get it, but it's just kind of like nobody knows when that is, how it's going to be delivered. It doesn't matter. I'll watch it wherever I can get it. But yeah, it's really good, and they could use the views, so go on Nick.com and watch this thing. It's amazing. Did you ever watch Avatar or any of those?
I was I Netflixed the entire first series in the span of a couple months, and it was incredible, and I loved it. And I gotta say, I was less impressed with this new series. Just, not because of the art, because that continued to be excellent, not because of the character. Well, because of a couple of the characters, like Mako immediately turned me off with the kind of canned romance plot they had in the first season. I was very committed. I bought the first 8 episodes on iTunes because I didn't have cable, but I had to see it. And I don't know, I kept hearing a lot of weird things that kind of prevented me from getting back into it. Like, I hear that they made Aang kind of a sucky dad, and I don't know. It seemed like a few things were out of character from what I'd imagined, like, their stories to be like, and, like, making Korra, like, the last airbender ever. Like, okay, we get it, you're not doing another series, but...
They actually... I actually liked the first season. The second season was a little kind of inconsistent until the second half, and then basically since the second half of that second season through now, it's been just amazing.
I hear Asami is great. Like, she continues to be awesome because she was definitely my favorite in the first season. Like, that was my favorite thing about the new series.
The second season, she doesn't have a lot to do. Just the story we're telling, there just wasn't a lot of room for her, so they popped her in every once in a while. This season though, it's been great because they really focused on like Asami and Corey's friendship, and then they give Asami some really badass fight scenes where she just kicks ass, and or like she helps Cora escape from this.
I saw that one scene where she like single-handedly breaks them out of the weird bondage gear, so that was cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, okay, so you could probably just skip the rest of first season. You just have to know that they defeated the guy, because the first season was like a miniseries, so it's a self-contained series. Like the second season, I'd watch. Just you gotta tough it out for the first few episodes until they actually tell the story of like the first Avatar, and then once they do that and then they keep going, it's really good.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll have to get back into it sometime.
Yeah, it's all there. Once again, they're like because they're not on Netflix anymore. I don't think. I think they're on Amazon, but I believe they're all on Nick.com, which they have like an app and on their website or whatever. So yeah, I definitely recommend catching up on it.
Okay.
All right, so I think that about does it. Unless you got anything else to add, Sarah?
I don't think so. Happy 1 year anniversary to us. 1 year of Late Wednesday Nights.
Yeah, that's crazy. You can find links to everywhere to find us and all of our episodes on cbcpodcast.tumblr.com. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/comicbookcommunicast. And find the audio version on iTunes, where you can subscribe and rate us there as well. And you can find the RSS link for your other podcast apps on our website. We also appreciate any shares and likes, +1s and tweets. And yeah, thanks, and have a good night.
Good night.